Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today, we are discussing an exceptional rarity, not just a silver dial Rolex Oyster Perpetual Milgauss 1019, but one that includes everything the original owner carried out the door of an authorized dealership in Hong Kong when he bought it in 1973. This watch here is a 2.4 million serial number, so approximately 1971 manufacture, and when it was purchased in Hong Kong in 1973, the original owner documented the event and kept the set together through the years. So what we have here is a 52-year-old watch that is full box and paper. The timepiece is nicely preserved, and it's nicely sized for a watch of its period. 38 millimeters in diameter would have been large back in the day, though today the watch wears as something of a unisex option for him or for her. It's 13.2 millimeters thick, 47.7 millimeters from lug to lug, and it has a fairly modern 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. The bracelet is a period correct folded link 7836 with 358 end links, manufactured in the fourth quarter of 1970. Correct the period and original to the watch. You can see that it features a snap-shut clasp and that it features several pairs of divots, so you can use your strap tool to re-anchor the bracelet internally and fine-tune the fit. Now the watch on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters circumference, it wears nicely. In its day, it would have been one of the larger Rolex models. Remember, Subs, Daytonas, GMTs, they were all smaller at the time. And the size, the standard size for a men's watch at Rolex was 36 for your Datejusts, your Oyster Perpetuals, and your Day-Dates. So this 38 would have been quite chunky. That said, the watch is short across the wrist, and under 48 millimeters today, a man or a woman can wear it, and I think it would be suitable for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. While it's not necessarily thin, it's not thick either, and the slope of the bezel and the plexiglass crystal augurs well for fit underneath a tight dress cuff. This watch was always considered to be a slow seller in its day. The 1019 Milgauss succeeded the first two Milgauss references when this came on the market in 1960, and it was made sparingly through 1988. Again, a technician's watch, an engineer's watch, sounds like something for eggheads, not necessarily as cool as flying a plane or driving a race car or diving on a wreck. So the mainstream Rolex sports watches tended to monopolize the public imagination as they do today. The Milgauss is a rarity, and it's got about three primary dial designs: black, silver, which we have here, and then there's also a CERN dial, which features no luminescence. Well, this is a non-CERN silver dial, and as you can see, it's in outstanding condition. But first, let's talk about the case. The case features full lugs. You can even see evidence of the original hand beveling on the profiles, so you can see that they are intact from corner to corner and end to end. There has been refinishing, but it's been done sparingly and professionally, which is why you can see that we have so much of the definition of the lugs and the bevels still present, but also the metal. You'll note that the spring bar isn't protruding at any one of the four strap tool apertures. What you can also see here is that the dial is absolutely antiseptic. We've got a twin lock crown, and people ask for case back shots of Rolex watches, so there you go. Don't know what you're going to do with that, but you can verify the end links, 358. The dial at some point was replaced at Rolex with a service replacement Luminova dial, and I'll show you why I believe that. If you look at it in the dark, it has quite a bit of luminescence. It's also not signed tritium, which is a hallmark of a service replacement dial, but being a correct Rolex factory service replacement piece, it is model correct and Rolex authentic, so you will get luminescence on your watch. It's just not the original tritium dial. Now, a couple of features that set this apart are the media blasted hands, which you can see are a sort of granular matte, and then we have a vertical satination that flows from top to bottom, almost like stainless steel. It's an extremely clean dial, and it has applique indices that are all beautifully intact. No contact marks, no marks of wear, no oxidation or tarnish. It's a good-looking dial. And inside the case, we have Rolex caliber 1580. Now, with the twin lock crown back in its day, 1971, this would have been 50 meters water resistant. I advise you not test the theory today on a vintage watch that's half a century old. But the original anti-magnetic soft iron cage around the movement still serves its original purpose. The Milgauss was named because it was anti-magnetic to 1000 Gauss, a measure of magnetic flux density. And this soft iron cage was principally designed to protect the escapement and the hairspring from electromagnets. That's what a Faraday cage does. Not so much static, but electromagnets. It's mechanically identical to a 1570. It just has that soft iron cage around it. So it's an automatic winder. It has a 48-hour power reserve. It beats away at a quirky vintage rate of 19,800 vibrations per hour, and it is pre-hacking. It's free-sprung with an overcoil hairspring for toughness, precision adjustment, and good timekeeping in every position. And it is a 26-jewel vintage Rolex manufacture movement with a COSC Swiss chronometer certification. This watch is a lot of fun to own, and you will get the full vintage Rolex experience because, again, full box papers, even a dated warranty card stamped by the original Hong Kong vendor. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.